True love waits. Tell me what you think it is.
Okay, I'll answer it. I think it's sex before marriage.
No, wait a minute. Are you going to ask me something else?
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Okay, well, I forgot.
What do you want?
Can I sit by the desk so I can take notes?
Sit by the desk so you can take notes?
Yeah, so I'm not...
What if everybody else wants to sit and take notes?
Yes or no?
I don't care. I don't care. Okay, anyway, true love waits. What is it to you?
I think it's love that waits to be true.
Love that waits to be true. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. All right,
Switch it around.
All right, we'll put them up here. Now, love that waits to be true. Okay, some of you who have never been in any of my classes, or me personally, you've been in a lot of my classes because of youth department. I am not one of your normal teachers. I tend to teach, and you can ask him because he's been through from what, the 6th grade or 7th grade? Fifth grade? Okay, that means I'm old. I do things different. I go by what you start talking. If you don't talk, I'm going to stand up here and I'm going to talk. And I don't want to do that. This is about what you want. This is about what you need to know. This is about what pertains to you. Not what pertains to me. But what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you what God thinks about true love waits. I'm going to tell you what Jesus thinks about true love waits. I'm going to tell you what both of them, obviously from the Word of God, what they think about true love waits. Then I'm going to tell you what the world thinks about true love waits. But what I want is what you think true love waits. What do you think it means? Come on. Live it up.
Like I said, I'm not having sex before marriage.
Not having sex before marriage. Hang on, that's too long of a sentence. But not having sex before marriage, that's really close. That's really close. True love waits. If anybody else got an answer? No? You guys are tired. Right? I thought I was tired. How many of you really don't want to be here? Well, at least I don't have any hands on that. Okay. You don't want to be here?
No, I haven't.
Why?
The definition of love, like biblical and...
Okay. What do you think the definition of biblical love is?
Well, never mind. Take that back.
What?
I take it back. Because... Oh, okay, sorry.
Go ahead.
I mean, to me...
You guys don't raise your hands. If you want to talk, just talk.
Because
Okay?
now that I just said that came to me, well, what I think biblical true love means is Jesus, because he loved us so much that he came down to earth and he went through all this pain. He went through all this pain and he died on the cross for us, so he can cover all of it.
All right. That is true love. Exactly. I mean, you can't get more true love than that. But let's go with along the lines of sexual purity. Okay. How many of you are embarrassed to talk about sexual purity? How many of you are embarrassed to even discuss sexual purity?
With who? Like?
With anybody. With me, with you, with your parents?
Oh, no.
With me, no. How about your parents?
No.
No. How about,
So you're never embarrassed.
where are you embarrassed to think about sexual purity?
Well, if it's like the person I'm dating and like they don't go to this church,
Right?
then I'm just kind of like, I don't have sex in my marriage, and they're like, oh, we'll see you later. Okay, cool. Like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, some of you are going, ew. Right? And some of you are going, I totally understand what she's talking about. Okay? Especially when you get up to be older and you're more into dating and things like that. It is hard, especially nowadays, to say that I am not having sex before marriage.
Right.
So, especially when you're talking to somebody who's not a Christian, you're talking to somebody you really got a crush on, whether it's a guy or a girl, meaning girl on a guy, guy on a girl, okay? None of this girl, guy stuff, right? We don't do that. That's not biblical, right? That is an abomination, according to God's word, right? And so is fornication. And fornication, who knows what fornication is? You? Anybody else? You? Okay. Fornication is exactly what you've been talking about, sex outside of marriage. Sex outside of the marriage bed. If you are having sex outside of marriage, that is fornication. That is a sin, an abomination in God's eyes. Everybody agree?
Mm-hmm.
Agree. This is yes. This is no. Okay, I'll see you knows. All right. Yes.
What's abominated?
Oh, it means he really, 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 really dislikes it. How's that?
Disgrace.
It's disgusting to him. Right? Now, along that same lines, sin itself, no matter what it is disgusting to
Yeah.
God. Okay? You can't look on sin because he's perfect. Now, sex outside of marriage. We're going. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Sex outside of marriage. Okay, it's the age. It's my age, right? Sex outside of marriage. Now, let me tell you this too. Some of you who are fairly young, some of you who are up on the upper end, some of you are really on the high end on me. We will be discussing very frankly nothing that is not against the Bible, nothing that is not biblical. Okay, I will be giving definitions. This is not a sex education class. The sex education class comes from your parents, not me. But if you have a question, I am not going to say, oh, ask your mom and dad. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be frank with you. If I believe that it's something you need to discuss with your parents, I will tell you that. Okay? So, what do you think constitutes sex? First, we got to get all these little guidelines. We got to get all these definitions. What do you, in your mind, from the youngest to the oldest, think that? What do you think constitutes sex? What do you think is the definition of sex?
I know what the dictionary says.
Okay, what does the dictionary say?
When the male reproductive organ enters the female reproductive organ.
Okay, that's what the dictionary says. All right, let me put it this way. What does a sexual act constitute?
Basically anything that could lead to sex.
Anything.
In
The
anything.
key word. In anything, in any form. Whether it be emotional, believe it or not, you can have emotional sex. You can have physical sex. You can have any of these acts that leads to cheating on God. Not on yourself, but cheating on God. And if you're cheating on God, who are you cheating on? You're cheating on yourself, especially if you profess to be a Christian. Okay? We're going to be going through some different things. Tonight, really, because I started so late, I really want this to be an overview, because we're going to be going over, I claim it to be the ice cream sundae. We'll discuss what marriage is. It's like an ice cream sundae, and we're going to build an ice cream sundae. We're going to start from the bowl, the ice cream, the whipped cream, the nuts, all the toppings, and the cherry on top. Okay? And all that constitutes, I will give you how that means and what that leads to as far as a godly marriage and sexual union. Anybody know in the Bible where it says that a man shall leave his mother, his parents, a woman shall leave his mother's parents, I'm paraphrasing, and become one unto the husband and the wife, and I'm paraphrasing? I know I should have wrote
I
this
feel
down.
like it's in the Old
Huh?
Testament.
I know it says a man should leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife.
Cleave unto his wife. Anybody who has a When you're talking about marriage, you're talking about a man and a woman becoming one. A man and a woman becoming one, cleaving unto each other. That means leaving your mom, that means leaving your dad, that means leaving your family, and you two becoming one. When they talk about becoming one, not only is that emotional, spiritual, but it's physical. Okay? It doesn't say leave your mom but you can bring your dad, or leave your dad but you can bring your mom. It doesn't mean all those relationships still come into the marriage. The marriage is a blended thing, okay? When Zach and Jamie got married, Zach is Pastor Scott's son. Jamie is my daughter. They left their parents to become one. And they married each other. They didn't marry us. They married each other. And they became one. They become one. They become one, meaning they become one flesh. That is the point of physical union. That is the point of spiritual union. That is the point of emotional union. And that's what God intended it to be. He didn't intend it for us to practice and say, oh, let's live together. Let's try this out, okay? You know, I want you to picture this. You know those big suckers you get at the carnivals, okay? Those big round ones, those big, all pretty colors and everything like that. Let's pretend that, and I'm going to use the ladies in this situation, okay? But guys, you can picture yourself in it too. Now, guys, I'm going to tell you this right now. Even though I am a male, and even though Zach has heard this 100 times before, guys are pukes. Okay? We are physical in nature. We got one thought in our mind. Girls, you are emotional. You are very emotional. Girls give emotion and give physical to get emotional love. Guys give emotion to get physical love. And the world makes it worse. They distort it and make it, it's okay. But back to the sucker. Girls, you're the sucker, right? All of a sudden, you've got this big sucker and you're walking along and some guy says, can I have a lick? And you say, sure. And he takes a lick. Oh, can I have one too? And he takes one. Can I have one? And you on and on and on. Now, all of a sudden, you've got this cute guy that all of a sudden you have become emotionally, spiritually attached to, biblically sound, becomes engaged, and he's seen all this history. Is he going to want to take a look at that? It's like taking part of you every time and giving it away each time. You are not going to put, guys, you're not going to want to put your tongue on that sucker because there's 20 other guys in front of you. Girls, guys, anytime you have a physical union or you give of yourself, whether guys, you give of yourself to a girl, and girls, you will do it too. You will use a guy to get what you want. Right? Guys, you will use a girl to get what you want. But anytime that you give of yourself, you're giving a piece of your whole body, your whole mind, and everything. You can never get that back. You can never get it back. And God knows that. God knows that you can never get what you give back. It's just like the tongue. Talking about in James, in the book of James, when it talks about the tongue is the most powerful thing that you can have. Whatever you say, it's like a spark in a forest fire. The tongue is like that. When you say something, you can't take it back because the mind is such a powerful machine that it'll never forget. I can remember things people told me in 7th grade. Believe it or not. Sometimes I can't remember any of the names, but I can remember some of those things. When somebody will tell me something and insult me or degrade me, or you will do the same thing. You can remember things in your life that somebody has told you and got on your case about. You'll never forget it. But it's the same way with your physical and emotional. It's like your heart. And everybody knows that this is not a real representation of the heart. Okay? But let's say, girls, you get attached to one guy, and now you get emotionally involved with him, and first boy that you ever kissed, right? You never forget that first boy that you ever kissed. Guys, you'll never forget the first girl you kissed. That little piece of your heart is gone. Okay? I'm not saying that you can't hold hands. I'm not saying that you can't hug. But how many of you realize, I will show you this here. When you hold hands, what does holding hands lead to?
Hugging.
Hugging. Okay? Now, when you hug, what is hugging hold? What's the next thing that happens after you hug? Okay, kissing. All right, very good, very good. Okay, now what happens from kissing? You hold hands, you've hugged, now you've kissed. What's the next thing?
Snuggle.
Yeah, there you go. You snuggle, you cuddle, you get real close. Okay. From there, it gets even more and more and more, and it's a very dangerous position to put yourself into. You have to make a conscious effort before you even start to date, to kiss, to hug. You've got to make a conscious effort and a conscious decision between you and God. Not you and yourself, not you and your mom, and not you and your dad or whatever, but between you and God to decide that this is as far as I go. And there's something you're thinking in your mind right now. I can tell some of you think, I'll just go till, it's not everything but that. No. No, that's sexually impure. You need to make a conscious effort. Sarah told me, my daughter Sarah, who was married to Dan, one of the security guards, if you don't know. I remember that Dan told me when he first started dating Sarah went up and told him, says, "You ain't getting none of this till I get one of these." And she flat out told him that. Okay? Now, I don't know, but I'm fairly positive it was the same situation between Zach and Jamie. Because I know Zach, I didn't know Dan, but I know Zach and I know my daughter. And I know, in my mind, in my heart, the way they were brought up and the way they believed and the way their actions were, it was the same thing. Now, as a father, yeah, I'm proud, I'm happy, I'm good, okay? But there are some times that you fail. We are human and we fail. God is the only one perfect. If you have failed, you start from this point on, because now you know. If you have, I call it fail, if you've sinned against God, not only against God, but against yourself, they say, what if true love doesn't wait? Well, the nice thing is we have a forgiving, merciful, graceful God, and He will forgive you. And He will, at your request, and your heartfelt request, God, from this point on, I remain sexually pure, morally straight from this point on. In God's eyes, bam, that's it. As far as He's concerned, you're a virgin from that point on. Okay? That's what's cool about God. He forgives. He's merciful. He's graceful. He's gracious. Now, I know I'm going over an overview of stuff like this. You're going to see this a lot. Anyway, back to the heart. After a while, you give your heart so many pieces away. All of a sudden, when it gets down to this, you only have that much to give to your husband or your wife. Now, in your mind, you're thinking, well, no, I give my whole heart to him. That's all you got left. Okay? You're going to see this a lot, too. And this is the main thing right here. True love waits is nothing more. Those of you who could probably teach this part. I know you've been here. If you've been here any amount of time, you know what this is. This is you, and you can put you anywhere. Put yourself. This is the other person, them. And this is God. Now, you grow closer to them. Have you grown closer to God? No. But if you grow closer to God and they are growing closer to God. Look at the distance there between the two of you. You know how many marriages fail because of the lack of this? Lack of communication, lack of you know, when you're being unequally yoked, when the Bible talks about being unequally yoked, it's not talking about black, white, yellow, green, purple, blue, whatever skin. It's talking about Christian. It's talking about like faith. It's talking about Christian love and Christian marriage. You're going to be growing closer to God. As you grow closer to God, you will grow closer together. You're both on the same area. You can't do anything but that. We as a family, as a Christian family, as a church family, everyone in here who has been here for any amount of time, and those of you who are fairly new, you somewhat feel closer to these people because of what? Because of Christ. Because you're Christians. Because you have a common bond, and it's God. Okay? Somebody off the street who may wear their clothes like you or wear the same hairstyle you do or something like that, yeah, that's all you've got in common with them. Yeah, they're cool. But there's no bond. We're going to be, how many of you know what the 3 biblical loves are?
Agape.
What? Agape? Which? Okay.
Vallejo. I was thinking Alejo. That's not right.
Oh my goodness. I can't remember how to spell it, but that's close enough. I think it's a PHI. And there's one more. Don't remember? Eros.
Erotic.
Huh?
Erotic.
Yeah, erotic. Exactly. In fact, you've got these in the right one too.
Agape is God's love, right?
Agape is God's love.
Vallejo is brotherly love.
Brotherly love.
And then Eros is.
Eros is the physical love. It's the desire that you have. God is not a killjoy. Okay? You're thinking that, oh, this stinks. What's up with this? It's boring, okay? I can't love anybody? I can't hug anybody? No. God He wired us that we are physical and emotional and sensual creatures. But all that is for our husband or our wife. Right? When you phileo somebody, I love you, brother. That's like we love each other in here as Christian brothers and sisters. Okay? This one is the physical love. This one is the sensual love. That one, and agape love is the God love. There is only one true love, and that is agape love. That is God's love, and He loves each and every one of us. Christ died for us. There is no other truer love than that. But all these together is marriage. Okay? And He gives us this love to keep our marriage together, along with Him and along with this. How many of you think that because you're married you can't be friends? I hope nobody thinks that. Because if you're not friends, your marriage is probably not going to work. You got to like each other. Not only do you have to love each other, you have to like each other. You've got to want to do things with them. I've seen marriages break up because it was based on an emotional, physical love. They never got to know each other. And they grew apart because they didn't do things together. And I know Zach has been through this 100 times with me, with our pre-marriage counseling, and he's actually talked to other people about it. If you do not communicate, you do not have this. You have to talk to each other.
Yeah.
You have to discuss things with each other. You have to know what each other's plans are. Okay? You can't just depend on physical attraction. And you're going, oh yes, I can. So suddenly walking down the hall there, he's captain of the football team, or the varsity cheerleader, head cheerleader, right? Well, let me tell you something. Let's say you do base your relationship on physical love, and it works for 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, whatever. You're going to wake up one morning And all of a sudden, the 15-year mark is going to be a 30-year mark, and you're going to go, oh my goodness, who is that next to me? Because physical love fades. Physical love falls away. People get that. Okay? People get old. People get gray. And things fade away. That's why it's so important to have the emotional, the friend, the phileo love, the agape love. Because the physical fades. You guys right now, I guarantee you, probably 95% of you base your initial response on attraction. Guarantee you. I guarantee you. You don't have to answer yes or no, but I know it's fact. If you don't, you're that much ahead of the game. And I told you I would make this more interactive, and I haven't done anything to talk. From what I've discussed so far, I want to know if you have any questions on any of it. The physical, the emotional, the spiritual, the triangle, the heart, the definition, anything. Yes.
What would you set as a good standard?
What would I set as a good standard? First of all, if you have not even started and venture out at all, your first standard is you're a Christian and you want to base your relationship on a Christian marriage. And a Christian marriage means you both will raise your children, if you are blessed to have children,
Right.
in a Christian home.
Right.
And bring them up being God-fearing. Not being afraid of God, but being in awe of God.
Yeah.
Okay? So that would be my first. Now, does that keep you not attracted to others? No. Trust me. You're excited and you go, whoo, yes! Okay? There's nothing wrong with going over and talking and bringing, nothing wrong with that. And don't go through there and say, well, I know they're lost. I'm going to win them to Christ and then we're going to date. It don't work. Okay? Because it is so easy. You're you're pretty stout. I saw you climbing around. Come here, buddy. On that statement that I just said, going out and saying I'm going to win somebody to Christ and then I'm going to date them. Get up there. Please get up there. Okay, turn around.
If you're gonna make me fall.
No, I'm not going to make you fall.
He'll try and trip you like he tripped me.
Take my hand. Now, pretend that you are trying to bring me up and you're going to win me to Christ. And then we're going to date and we're going to become engaged and we're going to become married and so on and so on. I'm trying to prove a point here. Bring me up.
I'm gonna fall.
Get me up there. No, get me up there.
I'm
Get
like,
me
I'm up there.
Try.
At least
Come on, try. Okay. Now,
the best
trade
you're
spots.
You're never.
Trade spots. Now, let me bring you up here. Come on. Okay,
Alright,
pull me down.
Careful.
Put you down.
Pull me down.
Try to trick me.
Okay. The point is, it is easier for that person that you are trying to bring you. It is easier for that person to try and pull you down than it is for you to bring them up. Okay? You have certain beliefs. They have certain beliefs. I'm not saying don't go out and win people to Christ. I am not saying that. God forbid, I am not saying that. I am saying you are still to witness and to bring others unto Christ. And bring others into the fold of Christ. Into Christianity. Alright? What I am saying is don't base your relationships on saying, we've been dating for a long time. Eventually they'll come around and they'll become Christians and so on and so on. And we'll have the same thing. You know how many marriages break up because of that? They don't last. Well, wait a minute. I know two people that aren't saved, and one of them's a Christian and one of them's not. Ask them how their marriage is. Ask them. It's hard. Why work at the marriage when you can have a good marriage based on Christian love, Christian faith, Christian principles, and have it already done? I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I'm saying it's going to be a lot easier than it is to try and do the other. Yes?
Is it bad to go out like with somebody, if you're a girl or if you're a guy, whatever, to go out with somebody if they're not Christian?
Is it bad?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's probably not smart. Because their values are not yours. Okay? Yes?
What if, say, you marry somebody and you're wishing that they would believe in God? What would you do?
What would I do?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of an afterthought is what you're asking, okay? Let's say you fall in love and you become engaged and you become married and you find out that, uh-oh, not a Christian, but you are. And you want to know what to do after that?
Yeah.
Do you divorce him? You answer that one. Do you divorce him?
Well, it depends how much I love him.
No, we don't. Okay? God doesn't mean for us to get married and divorced when it gets hard. Okay? But I mean, when you marry somebody, you are to I tread on thin ground here. Okay? When do you divorce? Okay? I've seen marriages tread on divorce because of infidelity. I've seen, and they've worked because they work it out. They choose that this is a God-centered marriage, whether it be one person or both of them. Okay. In the case of death, in the case of what happens if the person's beat? Let me ask you this: what happens if that person that is not saved in your marriage beats you, and beats you daily, to the point that you're in fear of your life?
Divorce.
Okay? God doesn't want us to be slaughtered like sheep. Okay? We need to protect ourselves. All right? I believe personally, and this is personally, I believe that God will forgive the person who is being abused, who is being subjected to that, for doing the right thing to get out of it, especially if you have children involved. Okay? Because you're putting them in danger. Right? If that person, and you've tried and tried and tried, you don't want to die because of, well, God said I need to stay married. Okay? He does give examples, and he gives us a lot of examples. And one of them would be that. Okay? The other one would be infidelity. You've got to be careful with that. Because infidelity, I don't know why I'm talking about Christian marriages now when I'm talking about true love waits, and you're not even married yet. But infidelity, what caused the infidelity? What caused it? Could it be that you didn't pay attention to the reasons that they went away astray? Were you not paying attention to them? Were you not loving on them? Were you not loving them? Were you not communicating? Was there a problem that they came to you 100 times before and you just ignored them? Okay, that can cause somebody else to say, "Oh, this person over here will listen to me, talk to me, pay attention to me," and you stray.
Infidelity is cheating, yeah?
Yes, infidelity is cheating. I'm sorry.
Stop actually.
You have to be accountable. Everybody's accountable. You're accountable for your actions. Okay? Just be aware that if it leads to a divorce in your not your parents, but don't be going home and telling your parents that, well, your fault. No, I'm talking about you. I'm talking to you. Okay? Be aware of your problems. Are they causing the problem? Because then you're at fault too. We are to work on our marriages. We are to work. It's not easy. I've been married 38 years, and it's not easy. Okay? It is a constant work in progress. It may get easier as time goes on. You know, like when I first bought her first wedding anniversary, you ought to seen her face. I thought she was going to just light up. I bought her a vacuum. Yeah, don't do that, guys. Let me give you a hint right now. Don't buy a vacuum for an anniversary present, okay? All you're doing is saying, get over there and clean the house. All right? Got to make it personal, all right? Just a clue, just a hint. Keep it in your mind. All right? Okay.
Depends on how dirty the house is.
It depends on yes. Yeah. You may buy a vacuum for her, but you'll be using it. How's that? I really want this class to be fun for you. I want this class to be fun for you. I want you to learn things, but I want you to be totally aware of what God, not Roger, not Pastor Roger, not Zach, or anybody else in here, not what we think marriage should be about, not what we think true love weight is, but what God thinks true love weight is. And not what God thinks, but what God knows true love weight is. True love weight is. Right? It is sexual purity. And when I say sexual purity, I asked you a question earlier, what is a sexual act? And you said anything that leads to impurity. I don't want this to be, like I said, a sex education class. But if you are sexually excited by an act your partner is giving you, that is sexual impurity. All right? Let your mind go where it wants to go, but if it gives you that pleasure, that is wrong. Okay? Because it will lead, guaranteed, it will lead to the act. Don't put yourself in the situation. Your parents say, well, my parents won't let me wait. They won't let me date till I'm 16 years old. You know, trust me, my daughters couldn't date till they were 25. No, that's what I said anyway. Okay? Your parents only want what's best for you. Okay? They know what they went through. They know the heartaches that you're going to have. Girls, they know the heartbreaks you're going to have. They don't want to see you that way. Especially, believe it or not, especially your fathers. Girls, your fathers don't want to see a tear in your eyes. It breaks their hearts. Guys, the same way. You know, your dad, oh, man up! No, they don't want to see your heart broken. They want you to feel and be a godly man without the pain and suffering of emotional loss. And if you go in that area where you're not waiting for the true love waits, it's just going to break your heart. Okay? And they don't want to see that. And if you can imagine, your parents don't want to see that, God sure don't want to see that. And He puts those there for us. He puts us there to protect us. Okay? There was I got years of stuff here, and each time, what I'm going to do. When you're dating, we'll talk about dating. There's nothing wrong with dating. You know, your parents may say you don't date till 15, 16, 17, 18, whatever time they put on there. Honor your mother and your father. This is the first commandment with a promise. Everybody know that one? Have you been quoted that by your parents? I guarantee you, if you haven't, you should be. Because it is the first commandment with a promise that your life will be long. Doesn't mean you're going to live forever. It means your life's going to be safer and better if you listen to your parents. Or listen to the ones who are in charge of you, over you. Okay? But you're going to see this too. Okay? Here's your parents. We'll just call this.
Umbrella.
We'll just call this mom and dad. Or if I say mom and dad, and you have a mom and a stepdad, or if you just have a mom or a dad or a grandpa or whatever, this is the person. You put your person's name in there, and this is you. Okay? Okay, whether it be one or two or three of you or whatever. Okay? Put you right there. You stay under the umbrella of mom and dad or the person that is over you. God is here. Okay? God instituted marriage, and marriage brings about children. Okay? God holds them responsible for you. Your mom and dad are responsible for everything you do. Now, if you decide that you're going to get out from underneath that umbrella, guess what? Bam! Now, don't get me wrong, you're still responsible to the Lord God for your actions. But if it's getting out from underneath the umbrella of the family, you are directly responsible. Guess what? Here's Satan down here.
Yep.
Okay? When you're under the umbrella, God attacks mom and dad, not you. When you get out from underneath that umbrella, Satan attacks direct. And when he attacks direct, now you are a problem with the family. So don't say that your mom and dad are causing it when you're the one that got out from underneath it and you're the one that let him in.
Right.
Now, do you feel guilty? I hope so. I do. I hope you do. Because Ephesians and one of the 10 Commandments says, honor your mother and your father. That doesn't mean if they say jump off that bridge and kill yourself to do that. That means honor your mother and your father for what is good, okay? For your life will be long. Okay? Now, if they say, well, I want you to go over here and smoke this weed with me, and we're going to go party, and then we're going to go get a couple of guys who's going to go, get a couple girls, and we're going to bring them back to the house. No.
Yeah.
Okay? No, that's not honor. Your parents are going to be directly responsible for that. But you know, now that you've been told, if you didn't know before, now you will be held responsible. And you go, oh no, I didn't hear that, I didn't hear that. Okay? So, back to the dating thing. Dating doesn't necessarily mean holding hands, kissing, pitch and woo, whatever. That's an old term.
I'm like, what does that mean?
All right, pitch and woo is like, oh, you're so sweet. You're such a sweetheart. You're so beautiful. Okay, it's taking nice things back and forth. It's an old Southern thing, okay? All right, pitch and woo. Saying nice things about your girl, saying good things about your man.
Ew.
All right.
You talk like that.
Anyway, dating doesn't necessarily mean all that. Dating means getting to know each other, getting along with each other, group dating, and I don't mean 2 guys, 2 girls. That means a group date, right? That means just a bunch of people getting together, and if you just happen to like one of them, especially more than the rest of them, you just learn more about that person, okay? Group dating is like going to the movies together, or going bowling together, or going out to the lake together, or going to a dance together, or something like that. I don't know if you guys even go to dances anymore. I know we used to, but it was just a meeting place. All right. Okay. I've been accused of holding you guys a lot later than what I should, and it's like 3 minutes till 7. I hope I didn't scare anybody off, and it will be more in depth. This thing says, the schedule says 5 weeks. I had one session one time lasted 8 weeks. But it was because of you. It wasn't me. It was because of your questions. It was because of your concerns. And that's why I'm here. That's why I really want you to be totally aware and really understand what true love waits means. Okay? I don't want anybody out there going, well, I didn't know. I want you to be honest with me. I will be honest with you. I don't want to embarrass anybody. If I embarrass anybody, please tell me, and I won't ever do it again. Right? I did that one time. In fact, I did it to my son one time in one of these things because I knew his whole situation and I embarrassed him. He told me later at home, Dad, I really didn't like that. I've never done this since. So if I do, I apologize right now and I will never do it again. You just need to let me know so I don't do it again. Okay? If you know anybody that needs to be here or would like to be here or you think it'd be a good class for them, this is a great first night. I really, really appreciate you guys being here. And we're going to learn a lot. I will learn a lot from you, and hopefully you'll learn a lot from the Bible. I've got a lot of statistics. The basic, here's one statistic that ought to scare you into being Christian, biblical dating. And there are 25 non-curable STDs. 25. And you can get them from kissing. You can get some of them from kissing. Believe it or not. So, if anything, I'll scare you into it. I don't care. No, not really. Okay. I'll see you next Wednesday.